Hello, thank you for being patient with me that I didn't post these notes till Monday, but here's the bird notes. So birds includes, birds. I think people get confused when I say it's a whole separate group, but yes, birds are their own group. All right, so some characteristics. We have jumped ahead now. We are in the endotherms. So these can regulate their body temperature. Fish, amphibians, and reptiles are ectotherms. They cannot regulate their body temperature. So now we're getting a little bit more complex, and birds are endothermic. They need a lot of energy because they fly. They have a very high metabolism. Some, like hummingbirds, like they're constantly eating. All right, so birds need a lot more food than the other ones that we've studied so far, and their metabolism is much, much higher. They have a 4-chambered heart, and they breathe with lungs, their whole life. There is no metamorphosis. There is no change from the larva to the bird. They breathe with lungs from the time they hatch, and they have a more complex circulatory system, 4-chamber heart. So there are some similarities here between them and mammals. And then comparing things here, fish, 1 chamber. Oh, sorry, that's not very easy to read. Amphibian, 3-chambered. Amphibian, reptiles, 2 or 3-chambered. And then mammals and birds are all 4-chambered. So you can see that. It doesn't have reptile, but you can still, I told you about that. All right, reproduction. They have internal fertilization. Birds need to mate in order to reproduce. And that makes sense because their eggs have a hard shell around it. So a female can't just lay the egg somewhere and the male can't spread the sperm over it, because with the hard shell, it won't do anything. It won't fertilize it. So birds need to mate. They need to have the internal fertilization. Some birds are actually monogamous. Kind of cool that a male bird, a female bird, they'll mate with each other for life, or at least for a long period of time. Their eggs have a hard shell, and you can see here all kinds of crazy patterns, sizes, all of that, and then a higher degree of parental care as well. So they take care of the young, they bring food to the young, they teach the young things, how to fly, how to hunt, any of those skills. And then they also make these incredible nests for them. I think I'll have that video up probably next week. There's one video that just shows the huge range of nests and materials and things that birds make. And it's amazing to me that they can do all this stuff with their beaks. Like, I would have a hard time doing that with 2 good hands, and they can make these with their beaks. Some adaptations to help them fly, because we're moving ahead. I mean, fish can't fly, amphibians, reptiles, they can't fly. We're getting to some more complex skills too. They have hollow bones, all right? So this reduces their weight. The bones aren't full of stuff inside of them, making them weigh more, making it harder for them to fly. This is also, if you have a dog at home and like the dog gets into the garbage, it's not good, especially if the dog eats like a chicken bone, because it can splinter because it's hollow, and that can hurt the dog. So if a dog eats a bone, it's better if they eat like a beef bone or a pork bone or something like that. Just kind of a side explanation there. They have feathers. They have different kinds of feathers. Some keep them warm, some help them fly. They have very strong chest muscles, allows them to flap their wings, and they don't actually have a urinary bladder. So they don't have a bladder that collects urine, because that would also be more weight. So when birds go to the bathroom, which I know you've all seen it, it's happened on your car or something, and there's that white stuff in it, that's that concentrated urea or uric acid, because birds don't pee separately. They don't have a bladder and a rectum. So just the one, and that helps them save weight. All right, some other cool things about them. They have a cloaca. So this allows water to be reabsorbed into the bloodstream. So they're very efficient. So they are constantly eating and getting energy. And I mean, you'll see them in a bird bath drinking and stuff. But they are more efficient with how they use the water. I mentioned that earlier, the uric acid, it's released as concentrated. So they're not losing a lot of water when they get rid of this waste. And then most females only have 1 ovary. So in mammals, females generally have 2 ovaries. In birds, they only have 1. Right? Because this is another way just to reduce the weight of them. So all these little things might not weigh a lot, but when you have all of them put together, that weight can add up, and that weight could make they'd have to get a lot more energy to fly. So these are just ways that they're pretty efficient and that they're built to fly. So the feathers, like I said, they have some different kinds of feathers. Down feathers, this is what you would have in a pillow or like a down jacket. They provide insulation. So these fluff up, these trap air, these keep the bird warm. These are especially important, birds that live in cold climates. Then there's pennaceous feathers. They could be So the edges of the wings, they're probably asymmetrical. These are much tighter and closer together than the down feathers. And then contour feathers, they line the body and they are symmetrical. So sometimes, if you're walking outside, especially lately, taking a walk, and you find a feather on the ground, you're probably finding one of these pennaceous ones, especially if it's, got the colors on it and it looks like it came from the bird's wing. So you can see how that's much different than a fluffy feather designed to trap air. These ones are much closer together so that, they can fly and they can actually move the air around them and glide through the air. For nutrition, birds eat in many, many, many different ways. They have different sized bills, different shaped bills, different sized bodies, different shaped talons. All of that just depends on their environment. So different beaks here, the cardinal eating seeds, the eagle can rip fish. This bird with the long beak, I'm not even sure what kind of bird that is, but I would guess that bird probably is a water bird and has to catch fish to get its nutrition. So based on what they do, that's what their beak shape is, or their size, or their talons. Like a hummingbird has a really long beak to use as a straw to get nectar from flowers. It would be ridiculous if a hummingbird had an eagle's sharp talons because it just doesn't need them, and it would have the extra weight from it too. Sorry, I've got the door open and the garbage truck is starting to come by. So if that's what you hear, that's what's in the background. Digestion. So once again, to be efficient, to save on weight, to get the most of their energy, since they spend so much time getting food, they don't want to just waste the energy. They have what's called a crop. So this would be the esophagus. This would be up where the head is. So they store food in the crop, and then it can wait to digest it later. So they don't really have a stomach per se, but the crop is a little bit different than the stomach, right? They have a gizzard. Okay, I'm gonna let the garbage truck go by. Okay, the gizzard, a little bit further down, it has tiny stones in it usually. It's a muscular sac, and this is where things are ground up. Birds don't chew. So the seeds, the worms, whatever, I guess they don't chew the nectar, but, the bugs that they catch, all that, they don't really chew them. So they get stored in the crop, then it goes to the gizzard. Sometimes birds will eat little stones, and that will also help ground up the food. If we were at school, we were going to be dissecting a pigeon, and maybe it'll show this in the video too. But I would have you guys open up the gizzard, and there's little stones in the gizzard. That's what the bird uses to grind their food. So it's kind of cool that they do that. Then down to the small intestine. That's where a lot of the digestion is done. A lot of the absorption of water and the nutrients. And then pellets here, we would have probably dissected owl pellets too. It is not bird poop. Okay, it's not bird poop. Owls eat things like mice, moles, little mammals. They can't digest the hair and the bones. The skulls of these little things. So it gets all collected in this little pellet, and then they hack it back up. So that's why with an owl pellet, it's not the bird's poop, but you can find these like where there's been owls, like a barn or something like that. And you can dissect it, and it's a whole bunch of hair, but then you can take the bones out of it and put them back together and see what kind of things they've been eating. So kind of neat how they do that. So that would be hacking that stuff that they can't digest, hacking that back out again. All right, they are very advanced when it comes to the senses, hearing and vision. And I'm thinking too, if you've gone to the beach, maybe not lately, but if you've seen, a pelican diving. Pelicans can be that far above the water, and even with the refraction of the light and such, dive in there and grab a bird. Like, that's pretty advanced. You know, an eagle doing the same thing, grabbing it with its talons. They can hear. That allows them to find their prey. I'm thinking owls, they hunt at night. You know, so they have, first of all, pretty good eyesight to see at night, but then also they have to have a good sense of hearing, otherwise they'd never find their prey. So it allows them to hunt and protect themselves in many environments. So they're either hearing a predator come or they're hearing their prey so they can catch it better. Their eyesight is very helpful. Hummingbirds go towards bright colors, right? This is why you see colored hummingbird feeders. Okay, so they see things and they know where to go. And that all kind of goes back to they don't want to waste energy, right? So it takes them a long time possibly to get their food. If they have to dive into the water twice for every time they catch one, or more than that, you know, they're using a lot of extra energy without much return. So that's why they have these higher developed senses too. It just allows them to be more efficient. You don't have to do those, but birds, they have a pretty cool thing here. They migrate. So usually from a cooler climate to a warmer climate and then back again. So when the seasons change. Growing up in Michigan, we always knew spring was coming because the robins would be back in town. We'd see the geese flying in their V south in the fall, but we'd see them flying back north in the spring. So it was always a sign like, okay, warmer weather's coming, the birds are coming back. So some of them you can see on this map. This map isn't super specific, like which birds do which, but some of them go really far. We're talking pretty far now north to pretty far south. Like that's not just a quick mile or two. I'm sorry, garbage truck. There it goes. That's not just a quick mile or two like, ooh, I'm finding a new nest. Like that's a pretty solid trip there. And then even more amazingly, some travel to the exact same spot every year. Okay, I think of people and people's sense of direction. Like I have to use a GPS just to get around here sometimes. And these birds can somehow use their instinct and internal navigation to find the exact same spot on the other side of the world. I just think that's amazing. It blows me away sometimes how many skills animals have just from instinct compared to like how many times people struggle with these things. So birds, once again, much more complex than the other ones. You'll do some comparing and contrasting of these later, but now you've seen the notes, you've been able to fill in the blanks. Those are the bird notes. So let me know if you have questions, and I'll talk to you later. Slide, yeah, it's just some questions.